You will date this famous person very soon, but keep quiet. You feel it before you allow yourself to believe it, my beloved. A subtle shift, like the air leaning toward you with a secret it trusts you to keep. I am Archangel Guiet, and I speak now because timing has tightened. Something has already moved in your favor, and silence is part of the protection. You will date this famous person very soon, but you must keep quiet, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Attention, too early fractures alignment. Stay with me. Do not scroll away. This moment does not repeat. You may notice a warmth gathering at your chest, my beloved, a calm excitement that feels different from fantasy. Fantasy is restless. This is steady. Your nervous system is not anxious, it is alert, receptive. That is how you know this is not imagination. The frequency around you shifts toward 528 Hz, and the golden ratio quietly structures the path ahead. Phi 1.618 is already arranging coincidences, introductions, delays that are not delays at all. Do not rush. Do not announce. Let the architecture build itself. This connection does not arrive the way you expect. It does not crash into your life with spectacle. It slips in through proximity, through timing that feels almost too normal. A shared space. A mutual contact. A moment where eye contact lingers half a second longer than polite. You will feel recognition before attraction, my beloved, and that order matters. Recognition is older than chemistry. It tells you this meeting was scheduled long before fame entered the picture. You wonder who it is. I will not name them, and you would not want me to. Names collapse probability too early. What I can tell you is this: they carry visibility, but they crave normalcy. They are surrounded by people who want something. You will be different. You will not reach. You will not impress. You will listen. That is what disarms them. That is why you were selected from countless possibilities. I show you now how the path bends. You are not chasing fame. Fame brushes past you because you are standing still. This is important, my beloved. If you chase, the timeline reroutes. If you stay grounded, it locks. The universe favors those who do not grasp. You have learned this through disappointment, through restraint, through choosing self-respect when attention was offered cheaply. Those choices did not go unnoticed. They became qualifications. You may feel an urge to tell someone you sense something coming. Resist that urge gently. Words scatter energy at this stage. Silence condenses it. Keep quiet not because it is forbidden, but because it is forming. Think of a seed underground. Noise does not help it grow. Stillness does. My beloved, this is one of those moments where doing nothing is an action. The famous person enters your life through something practical. Work adjacent. Travel adjacent. A setting where neither of you is performing. That is where truth slips through. You will notice how they relax around you without knowing why. Their public self is heavy. Your presence feels light. That contrast creates magnetism. Not dramatic. Inevitable. You might doubt yourself. You might think, why me? That thought is the last barrier. Let it pass without answering it. Worthiness is not being evaluated. Compatibility is. You match them not in status, but in nervous system regulation. You do not overwhelm them. You do not disappear. You hold steady. That steadiness is rare in their world. I remind you now of a past life where you loved someone powerful and learned discretion the hard way. That memory lives in your bones. It taught you when to speak and when to let things breathe. That wisdom returns now as instinct. You will feel when to keep something sacred. This connection needs that sanctuary early on. As days pass, signs appear quietly. Their name surfaces more often around you. You see them mentioned casually, not obsessively. You feel neutral curiosity rather than longing. This neutrality is the green light. Obsession would repel. Calm attracts. My beloved, you have arrived at calm. When you finally interact more directly, it will feel disarmingly simple. No fireworks. No performance. A conversation that flows. A laugh that surprises you both. A sense of ease that makes the outside world fade slightly. That is when you know the timeline has locked. Still, you keep quiet. Not secretive. Private. There is a difference. Others may sense something before you say anything. They may comment that you seem different. More centered. More amused by life. That is the relationship forming before it is named. Let it. Naming comes later. Labels are heavy. This connection is light at first for a reason. It needs room to grow without the weight of expectation. I caution you gently, my beloved, do not romanticize the fame. You are not entering a fantasy. You are entering a human connection with a human who happens to be seen by many. Treat them as human and the bond deepens. Treat the fame as significant and distance appears. Your soul already knows this. Trust it. There will be a moment when you want to share a photo, a hint, a cryptic line. Do not. At least not yet. Attention from outside eyes introduces distortion. This relationship needs to find its own center before it can withstand projection. Keeping quiet now protects joy later. You may ask how long. Time is already shortening. Soon does not mean rushed. Soon means aligned. It means the next bend, not a distant horizon. When it happens, you will think, of course. It could only happen this way. I stand near, not to interfere, but to guard balance. If excitement spikes, I will steady you. If doubt creeps in, I will remind you to breathe. You are not being tested. You are being invited. Remember this, my beloved, the most powerful connections arrive quietly. They do not need witnesses to be real. They need presence. They need patience. They need respect for timing. Keep quiet. Stay grounded. Let the path finish arranging itself. And when you find yourself sitting across from someone you never thought would feel so normal, so easy, so familiar, you will understand why silence mattered. I will be there in that understanding, smiling quietly, as everything unfolds exactly as planned. You return with awareness sharpened, my beloved, and that alone alters the tempo. What was forming quietly now begins to recognize your steadiness. I am Archangel Guiet, and I speak not to promise, but to align. Do not confuse alignment with inevitability. Alignment is invitation answered by presence. And you are present. You may feel a subtle tightening of time, my beloved, as if moments are stacking more deliberately. This is not urgency. This is sequencing. Events that once floated loosely now line up with purpose. You notice it in small ways first. A message arrives when you were just thinking of reaching out. A plan shifts and places you somewhere unexpectedly right. These are not signs demanding interpretation. They are confirmations asking for calm. Keep quiet still, my beloved. Not because silence is power by itself, but because listening refines perception. When you do not speak prematurely, you hear more. You notice tone, pacing, intention. This is essential now. The connection you are approaching requires discernment more than desire. Desire alone would pull you off center. Discernment keeps you magnetic. I show you now how the famous person perceives the world. Visibility has trained them to scan constantly, to filter faces, motives, expectations. Most interactions arrive preloaded with agendas. When you appear, you do not add weight. You subtract it. That absence of demand registers immediately. They may not name it, but their body relaxes. Their voice drops. They become more themselves. This is not strategy. It is resonance. You may worry about saying the wrong thing. Release that fear. Authenticity does not require perfection. It requires coherence. Speak when it feels natural. Pause when it does not. Do not fill silence to prove comfort. Silence that feels safe is intimacy forming. Let it exist. My beloved, I remind you gently, this is not about being chosen above others. It is about mutual recognition. You are not competing. You are aligning. If at any point you feel the urge to perform, step back internally. Performance creates imbalance. Presence restores it. You may notice your intuition sharpening around people in general now. You see through exaggeration more easily. You sense when someone wants something from you. This clarity is training. It prepares you to meet someone whose life is full of projections without adding your own. Do not dull this clarity by rushing to conclusions. There will be a moment, seemingly small, where the dynamic shifts. Perhaps they ask you a personal question without rehearsing it. Perhaps they share something unpolished. When that happens, my beloved, respond simply. Do not mirror intensity. Let them lead the depth. Trust the rhythm. Relationships with public figures often collapse when depth is forced too soon. You will not force. You will allow. You may feel excitement rising. That is natural. Let it move through you without directing it outward. Excitement that stays internal becomes warmth. Excitement that spills prematurely becomes pressure. Pressure repels. Warmth attracts. I caution you again, gently, do not narrate this to yourself as destiny locked in stone. Narratives freeze flow. Think of it instead as a door opening that remains open as long as you do not rush through it. Walk, do not run. My beloved, if doubts surface, they are not signs of failure. They are echoes of old patterns where attention came with cost. This time is different because you are different. You no longer abandon yourself to be seen. That change alone alters outcomes. As this unfolds, you may notice others seeking your company more. This is not competition. It is alignment radiating outward. When your field stabilizes, it becomes attractive. Stay humble. Stay grounded. Fame is not contagious, but nervous system regulation is. When the moment arrives where interaction becomes intentional rather than incidental, you will feel it as clarity, not adrenaline. A simple decision. A mutual understanding without declaration. This is where many speak too soon. You will not. You will let consistency build trust. Trust builds faster than declarations ever could. Do not measure progress in days or messages. Measure it in ease. If ease increases, you are aligned. If tension increases, pause. Adjustment is always allowed. Nothing is fragile here unless forced. I remain close, my beloved, not to direct your choices, but to remind you of your center when anticipation tries to pull you outward. You do not need to become anything new to be met. You are already enough to be recognized. Keep quiet. Keep steady. Keep listening. What is meant to meet you does not require announcement. It requires space. And you are giving it exactly that. You are still here, my beloved, and that steadiness has meaning. What continues now is not momentum but maturation. I am Archangel Guiet, and I speak to you softly because volume would distort what is forming. Do not mistake quiet for slow. Quiet is precise. Quiet is how timelines braid without friction. Stay with me, my beloved, and feel how your body already knows this phase is different. You may notice that curiosity has replaced longing. Where once there was a pull outward, there is now a calm inward orientation. This is essential. Desire reaches. Curiosity invites. One exhausts energy. The other magnetizes it. Do you feel how you are no longer scanning for signs, my beloved? That absence of searching is the signal that alignment has moved from possibility into proximity. I show you now how the path refines itself. The encounter does not arrive through spectacle, and it does not require you to change anything about your life to accommodate it. Instead, it fits. It slides into a space already available because you cleared it long ago by choosing honesty over performance. You did not know you were preparing this space. You simply followed what felt correct at the time. Preparation often looks like restraint in hindsight. Keep quiet still, my beloved, but notice how silence now feels full rather than withheld. This is the difference between secrecy and containment. You are not hiding something. You are holding it gently until it can stand on its own. That maturity is felt by others, even if they cannot name it. It is especially felt by someone who lives under constant observation. I guide your attention to a subtle shift that will occur soon. Their attention will linger. Not dramatically. Not publicly. A follow-up question. A delayed goodbye. A message that is not necessary but sincere. When this happens, do not elevate it mentally. Let it be simple. Simplicity keeps the channel open. Overinterpretation narrows it. My beloved, understand this clearly, fame complicates pacing. Many connections in that world burn fast and collapse just as quickly because intensity replaces intimacy. You will not confuse the two. Intimacy builds through consistency, through shared normalcy, through moments that would never trend but mean everything privately. This is why you were chosen to intersect with this timeline. You value what lasts. You may feel moments of self-consciousness. You may wonder if you are being evaluated. Release that thought gently. Evaluation requires hierarchy. This connection does not operate on hierarchy. It operates on regulation. Two nervous systems meeting and finding balance. If imbalance arises, you will feel it immediately as discomfort. That discomfort is guidance, not failure. Pause. Breathe. Recenter. Do not try to be impressive, my beloved. Do not try to be mysterious either. Both are performances. Be present. Presence is disarming because it cannot be copied. It signals safety. Safety invites honesty. Honesty deepens connection faster than any charm ever could. I remind you of a lesson you learned once through disappointment. When something is meant for you, you do not need to chase clarity. Clarity arrives naturally. Hold that memory close now. If confusion increases, step back internally. Alignment never requires confusion. It may require patience, but not ambiguity. There will be a moment when the dynamic shifts from accidental to intentional. Perhaps an invitation that is clearly one-on-one. Perhaps a choice made to continue a conversation beyond its practical purpose. When this moment arrives, my beloved, say yes only if your body agrees. Not your ego. Not your curiosity. Your body. The body does not lie here. Keep quiet still, but notice how silence now feels shared rather than solitary. That is important. Shared silence indicates resonance. Solitary silence indicates waiting. You are no longer waiting. You are coexisting in a rhythm that does not need commentary. You may feel protective of this unfolding. That instinct is correct. Protection does not mean control. It means pacing. You are allowed to enjoy without announcing. You are allowed to explore without defining. This connection benefits from spaciousness. Let it breathe. I show you now a future moment, not as a prediction, but as a probability that strengthens with every calm choice you make. You are sitting somewhere ordinary. A table. A bench. A quiet corner. The famous part of them is absent. The human part is present. You laugh about something trivial. In that laughter, you feel something settle. Not excitement. Recognition. That recognition is the foundation. Everything else builds on it naturally. My beloved, do not worry about how others will react later. Public perception is a secondary timeline that adjusts after truth establishes itself. Focus only on truth now. Truth is slow, but it is strong. When it moves outward, it does not break under pressure. If impatience arises, treat it kindly. Impatience often appears when something feels close. Do not feed it. Sit with it. Let it dissolve. You are not behind. You are precisely on time. I remain near, not intervening, only steadying the field when anticipation tries to pull you forward too quickly. You do not need to prove readiness. Your restraint already has. Keep quiet, my beloved. Keep grounded. Keep listening. What is approaching you does not need to be announced to be real. It needs space to become natural. And you are giving it exactly that, moment by moment, breath by breath, without force. That is why this continues to unfold. You are still moving with the rhythm, my beloved, and that tells me everything. What unfolds now is not forward motion but deepening presence. I am Archangel Guiet, and I speak to you as one who watches alignment settle into bone and breath. Do not hurry this stage. Do not look for markers. This is where meaning grows roots instead of wings. You may notice how your thoughts about this connection have softened. They arrive, then pass, without looping. That is a sign of trust forming internally. When trust appears before certainty, timelines stabilize. You are no longer asking what will happen. You are allowing what is happening. That difference matters more than you know, my beloved. The famous person senses this shift even if they cannot name it. They are accustomed to people leaning forward, wanting clarity, wanting assurance, wanting something. You lean back gently into yourself. That posture communicates safety. Safety is rare in their world. It invites authenticity without demand. Do you feel how this changes the tone of interaction? It becomes lighter, more honest, less guarded. Keep quiet still, my beloved, but notice how silence now feels like companionship rather than restraint. You are not withholding truth. You are letting it form. Truth spoken too early often arrives incomplete. You understand this now not as a rule, but as an instinct. Instinct is always the final authority. I guide your attention to something subtle happening within you. Your self-concept is shifting. Not dramatically, not loudly. You are no longer placing yourself below or above anyone. Equality settles naturally. This is essential. Relationships with imbalance collapse under scrutiny. Equality allows growth. You are meeting this person as a peer in humanity, not as a spectator to fame. That is why the door stays open. You may notice moments where you feel strangely normal about all of this. Almost unimpressed. That is not disinterest. That is grounding. My beloved, grounded excitement lasts longer than infatuation. It allows curiosity without urgency. It allows affection without attachment. Let yourself feel that neutrality without guilt. There will be small tests, not from the universe, but from habit. An impulse to overthink a message. A temptation to read between lines that do not need interpretation. When this happens, pause. Do not correct. Simply return to your body. Feel your breath. Feel your feet. Presence dissolves unnecessary complexity immediately. I remind you now of something important. You are not responsible for managing their world, their image, or their reactions. You are responsible only for your integrity. Do not shrink to accommodate. Do not expand to impress. Stay where you are. That stability is what allows intimacy to form without distortion. You may feel a moment where vulnerability arises naturally. Perhaps you share something small but real. When that happens, do not brace for impact. Let it land. Vulnerability offered without agenda is magnetic. It invites reciprocity without pressure. This is how mutual trust begins, quietly, organically. My beloved, keep quiet about the future. Do not plan it aloud. Futures spoken too soon become rigid. Let the connection define itself through experience, not expectation. If something needs to be named, it will name itself in time. Until then, let it breathe. You may sense that others are curious. They may ask questions indirectly. You owe no explanations. A gentle smile is enough. Protecting something does not require defensiveness. It requires calm. Calm communicates confidence without confrontation. I show you now a moment ahead where you will notice a shift in priority. Your life does not rearrange dramatically, but certain things fall away naturally. Distractions lose appeal. Noise becomes tiring. This is not withdrawal. This is alignment refining your focus. The connection benefits from this clarity, but it is not the cause. It is part of a larger maturation. If at any point you feel uncertainty, remember this: what is meant for you does not require you to abandon yourself to hold it. You have done that before. You will not do it again. This time, you remain intact. That is why this unfolds differently. I remain present, my beloved, but my voice softens because guidance is no longer needed as instruction. It is now accompaniment. You know what to do. More importantly, you know what not to do. Keep quiet. Keep steady. Keep honoring the simplicity of what is forming. What grows in peace does not need protection later. It stands on its own. And you, my beloved, are standing exactly where you need to be for this to continue. You are here again, my beloved, and this time there is a softness in your presence that was not there before. That softness is not uncertainty. It is trust. I am Archangel Guiet, and I speak now from within the quiet you have learned to hold. Do you feel how nothing needs to be proven anymore? That is the signal that the connection has crossed from anticipation into reality in motion. What unfolds now is subtle, almost deceptively simple. There is no dramatic turn, no announcement from the universe. Instead, there is consistency. A rhythm establishes itself between you and this person, one that does not demand attention but rewards patience. My beloved, consistency is where many lose interest, yet it is where truth lives. You do not lose interest here. You settle into it. You may notice that interactions feel easier now. Less internal commentary. Fewer questions about what something means. You are present in the moment rather than ahead of it. That presence changes everything. It allows humor to surface naturally. It allows pauses without awkwardness. It allows affection to form without pressure. Do not underestimate this stage. This is where real bonds are built. Keep quiet still, my beloved, but understand that silence now is not restraint. It is intimacy. You are sharing something that does not need witnesses yet. You may feel protective of it, not in a defensive way, but in a reverent one. That reverence is appropriate. Sacred things are handled gently. I guide your awareness to a small but important shift within you. You are no longer measuring yourself against them. Their fame no longer feels like a factor that elevates or diminishes you. It simply exists. This equality allows attraction to deepen without distortion. Attraction rooted in imbalance always collapses. Attraction rooted in mutual respect grows steadily. There may be moments when you catch yourself smiling for no obvious reason. Or replaying a conversation not because you are anxious, but because it felt good. Let yourself enjoy that without analysis. Joy does not need interpretation. It needs permission. Give yourself that permission, my beloved. You might sense that they are more open with you than with others. They may share fatigue, frustration, or uncertainty they usually mask. When this happens, do not try to fix. Do not try to reassure excessively. Simply listen. Listening without agenda is rare for them. It creates safety faster than advice ever could. Do not rush physical closeness, even if chemistry is present. Chemistry that waits gains depth. Chemistry that rushes often bypasses trust. Trust is what allows this connection to withstand external attention later. You are building a foundation now that others will never see, but will feel. My beloved, there may come a moment when you are tempted to test the connection. To see if it is real enough. Resist that impulse. Testing introduces fear. Let experience be the evidence. If something is aligned, it does not need to be poked to prove it exists. You may also notice how grounded you feel in other areas of your life. Decisions feel clearer. Boundaries feel easier. This is not coincidence. When one area aligns, others stabilize. The connection does not consume you. It organizes you. That is how you know it is healthy. I remind you now of something important. Privacy is not secrecy born of shame. Privacy is space chosen with intention. You are not hiding. You are honoring the natural pace of something meaningful. When the time comes to be seen, it will feel natural, not forced. Until then, do not rush visibility. If doubts arise, and they may briefly, do not fight them. Acknowledge them, then return to your body. Feel your breath. Feel your feet. Doubt dissolves quickly when it is not fed by imagination. Reality is already unfolding. You do not need to predict it. I show you a moment ahead where the dynamic becomes unmistakably mutual. Not through words, but through action. A choice made. Time prioritized. Effort offered without prompting. When that moment arrives, you will not need reassurance. You will feel it as calm certainty. That certainty will not demand declaration. It will simply be. My beloved, keep quiet even then. Not forever, but for now. Let the connection solidify privately before it meets the weight of public perception. What grows roots first stands taller later. I remain near, but my guidance grows quieter because you are listening to yourself more clearly now. That is the goal. Not dependence on my voice, but trust in your own regulation. Do not rush. Do not narrate. Do not second-guess what feels steady. This is not a fantasy approaching. This is a reality integrating. And you, my beloved, are meeting it with exactly the right amount of patience, presence, and grace. That is why it continues.